So, we got to do things a little bit differently in the wintertime. My loadout changes and different things. But one thing I think is really essential is having your neck warm. Everybody talks about keeping your head warm, and I think that's important. But one of the biggest things that I do in the wintertime is just a silk bandana. If you study the cowboys and how they used to stay warm, silk instead of cotton, especially in the wintertime, it dries out faster. It retains heat. It's just a really neat tool and piece of kit. The other thing that I've got, I really like wool. Wool is super important. For anybody outdoors, they'll tell you that wool is the #1 winter clothing material that you want. It's also the most expensive for the most part, seems like, but there's a reason for that, and that is if it gets wet, it's snowing right now. If it gets, and a lot of times it'll be raining, so if you're gonna be stuck outdoors for a long time, wool will keep you, it retains, I think, 60% of its heating potential even when it's wet. So a lot of guys will tell you go synthetics underneath, and then some kind of cotton for bulk or more synthetics, and then some kind of waterproof layer on the outside, and that's fine. Other thing is that the synthetics, man, they get stinky fast. So, it can get pretty gross pretty quick. Big guy, especially wearing coats, sweating all the time. I don't like synthetics a whole lot. So what I've got is this is probably my main outfit. I've got a pair of long johns on, and then I've got depending on how cold it is, layers are super important. Being able to take off clothing and put it back on so you're not sweating all the time. So I've got a pair of long johns on, and right now it's between, 30 and 50 degrees if I feel like I'm going to be cold. If I'm working a lot, that can affect things too. And if I'm going to be just driving the four-wheeler, I want something a little warmer. Sometimes I can put on a wind-resistant layer, but I've got my vest in the car. So if it's not going to be super bad, I'll wear my vest. And then I've got this big Carhartt coat, and I've got an old coat that my grandma bought me when I was in like 8th grade. She always bought everything 3 sizes too big. When it's really cold, I'll be wearing that. But it's pretty raggedy at this point. I've worn it a lot, so I don't try not to wear that in video or public. But it's probably my warmest coat. So what I do is I start with my base layer. I've got a couple of pairs of wool underwear. They don't seem to last very long, so I usually just wear my cotton Hanes briefs, the cheap ones, whatever. I don't worry about it too much. Again, I don't much care for synthetics. They smell quickly and they get gross. So cotton's probably not the best thing, but if it's really cold, I'll put on wool. And then I actually just got a pair of wool long johns, or long underwear, whatever you want to call it. I'm really excited about. I've got probably 3 or 4 different kinds. So what I've got on now is just a lightweight synthetic, and I'll wear that until we get down to about 32, something like that. And then I've got a pair of cotton polyester blend, and those do pretty good until you get down into 20 or a little bit cooler. And then I've got a pair of of Under Armour full synthetic that is really, really, it'll toast you out. So anything under 20, that's usually what I'm wearing, depending on my outer garments. And right now, the synthetic I've got on is just my pants. So that gives me some flexibility with I'm not so cold. I have the coat and, other things up here. It's not real windy. I'm not too worried about it. But those wool, I'm going to figure out what temperatures I like to wear those wool. I'm super excited about it. So yeah, you can wear them for a few days and you don't have to worry about the smell too much. The only problem that I've ever seen with wool, like I said, with my underwear, they get in my socks. I've got wool socks on too. These are Darn Toughs, and I've worn holes in everything. I'm just hard on stuff. I heard a guy say, "Oh yeah, I've had my same Darn Toughs for 2 years, and I've got 7 pairs, which is great. I've got 2 pairs. I wear them a lot, and probably, I don't know, I got 2 pairs out of one, or 2 years out of one, and 4 pairs out of the other. They're good, but some kind of wool blend sock is great. I've actually got 3 different sizes or weights of the Darn Toughs, and so that'll go along with how cold it is outside. I've got a lightweight pair, then a couple of the mid weights that I'm actually going to send back in and test out their warranty, And then I've got 2 of the heavyweights, and I love the heavyweights for when it's cold. And then when it gets really cold, I'll either throw on, I've got a pair of insulated boots that I'll throw on. I think they're insulated Carolina boots. But I really don't like wearing rubber boots unless I'm going to be standing in water. They're uncomfortable. They eat up socks. They're hot, then they're cold, and then they're, you know, it's just miserable. So I like just wearing my regular Nicks boots. This will be the first year I've gone all the way through the winter with them, but I've always had a pair of leather boots. So in the winter, it's better to have boots that are a little looser. These Nicks are actually pretty tight on me, and so my feet are actually pretty cold with just my regular wool socks. So I'll probably be wearing those Carolinas a little more this winter. Just I would get a bigger size the next time I order my Nicks, but that was my first pair of custom boots, so, or second pair, I guess. I got the JKs before that, but anyway, sizing is the hardest thing to figure out in those. So get them a little big, then you can wear a bigger sock or put in some kind of different insole, heating insole. I know a lot of people do that. I just wear those thick, darn tough socks, and I'm usually pretty comfortable down into, you know, 10, 15, 20. So then I'll go to the waterproof boots. It gets the waterproof insulated boots if it gets down below 20 probably. Let's see. As far as, so that's my base layer. Super excited about the wool, but synthetic cotton, really, really good Under Armour, thick synthetic. When it gets real cold, it's what I like. And they dry quickly too. So synthetics have a place. They smell pretty quick if you're going to be sweating in them. And then so that usually takes care of my bottom half. I mean, I've always wanted a pair of fleece pants, fleece lined jeans or something. I've never got a pair, but that may be coming in the future. I thought about getting a pair of wool pants. They're just really expensive. And again, you know, the longer I do this, the more I appreciate wool. I probably will end up with a wool vest and some wool pants and maybe a wool shirt. I don't know. You could spin what you want to on this kind of stuff, but just getting started. I've got a pair of coveralls, just the bib overalls or whatever you call them. Bib overalls, and that's what I wear when it gets really cold. If I'm going to be playing in the snow or, you know, driving the four-wheeler, I'll throw those in the car, throw them on. Since I'm going to be driving back and forth and in and out of the car a lot this winter, I'm actually thinking about getting a pair of decent coveralls. So I've got a pair of hunting coveralls that I throw in my wife's car when I'm going to be checking cattle on Sunday and the kids are riding with me or whatever, and just want to keep my Sunday clothes clean. But I haven't had a good pair of coveralls. They're bulky and they get in the way, and I like having the flexibility. If I'm just wearing the bibs, you know, I can throw my vest on and a couple of cotton shirts, and then put my wind and rain Carhartt hoodie over it, then my Carhartt vest over the top, and that works pretty good. But and then I have a lot of flexibility if I'm building fence or, you know, whatever I'm doing, pretty physical type stuff, cutting trees down, and at least my upper body's not quite as limited. When you got the coveralls on, you're just kind of one big, which, you know, if it's cold and you want to protect your clothes, that's what you need. But this is a Carhartt coat I got last year. Not as warm as I'd like it to be, so, you know, it's just is what it is. But I think it's the first time I've gotten it wet. Actually, it's snowing right now. So underneath it, I usually try to have something to cover my neck if it's going to be cold and windy. I know covering your head's important, but covering your neck, you lose a lot of heat through this collar. And if you watch my other videos, you see my Carhartt vest. It comes all the way up to my neck, and I really like that about that vest. They have the low-cut vests. I wouldn't touch those with a 10-foot pole because you can always open them up, but if you don't have that neck protection, it just a lot of wind, a lot of heat, you lose that through your neck. So this is just a silk bandana, nothing special. I don't remember where I got it from, but it's pretty quick drying, pretty warm. And then I've also got I think a -33 neck gaiter that I really like. And so I got to actually go find that. It's in my good clothes. It's black and new and pretty. So it's been in my good clothes for church and stuff. If I get real cold going in and out, I guess, or going on trips or whatever. So something to cover your neck. Right now I've just got a t-shirt on and then just a regular Carhartt hoodie. I trade this one out with my wind and rain. My wind and rain is what I prefer most of the time, but it's I try to wash them every once in a while. And I can't say that it's just heavier. I'm not saying it's windproof or rainproof, but I do prefer them over just the regular hoodies. But hoodies are pretty versatile. I throw them on under my vest. I throw them on under this. I'm a big fan of the hoodie. Yeah, you take them or leave them. I know some people don't like them, but having a hood on, those kinds of things are important. This is just a regular Carhartt coat. It's got a couple of pockets. Got a couple of pockets here, and it's got the regular pocket there. And I'm pretty disappointed in this coat. It's made different than my vest. So I always on my jacket or my vest, which I wear 90% of the time, I open this up and I reach in and I grab my phone. Well, this one it's opposite, so that drives me nuts. It is what it is, but I always try to get them oversized in the wintertime. It always seems like they're coming up. My butt's cold, so I always try to get oversized clothes in the wintertime. Make sure you've got plenty of coverage if you're being active and that kind of thing. So I've also got strangely long arms, so these have, I don't know what size this is, but Carhartt's come in tall. They're usually pretty big. They're made for the working guy, and they seem to understand things pretty well. So gloves, for years I just wore the regular black jersey gloves. I double them up. They're always getting wet, so you'd have 12 pairs of them, and I still have those, and they have a place. Keep a couple extra pairs in your car or whatever. But these are my new gloves. I've been wearing them all fall. They're insulated. They're Thinsulate 100-gram insulation. I haven't been cold in them yet. They're Stag brand. I got at my local farm store, and really liking them. They come in XXL, I think is what these are. I got pretty big mitts, so yeah, it's hard to, but whether I'm working in wire, stuff like that, these have been awesome. I don't know how waterproof they are. I may put some wax on them or something, but I try not to get them wet. I've also in the past, especially cutting hay bales and stuff, a lot of times I'll have like a insulated cheap rubber glove, and I hate those. They're hard to get on and off. They smell horrible. Going back to the synthetic thing, they're better. Yeah, yuck. I'll say that, yuck. So having those natural materials, going back to the wool thing, having this leather, I really like it. And the older I get, the more I appreciate it. So working up from there, we talked about neck gaiters. We're going to go up to hats. So if I can wear a regular bill, I love a regular bill. If it's not super cold out, I'm wearing a regular ball cap. I won't call it a hat for you guys out west that are watching. I know better. But yeah, so this is just my regular Jones Angus Farms hat. It's probably getting pretty dirty. And I used to just pull a regular Carhartt hat over the top, but I've gotten into these fleece hats. I like them. They're pretty light. I stuff them in my pocket, and you know, they're pretty warm. And this one actually comes down. It probably looks a little goofy. My wife probably doesn't approve, but the cows don't care. So you can see it does a pretty good job. Well, a lot of the hats like this, they're just the regular fleece hats. They'll just come around, and the bottom of my ear is always cold, and I don't want to be cold out here, you know, any colder than I have to be. So this is pretty warm. Now you will see some space here when I'm driving on the four-wheeler pretty quickly. You get a little wind under. So what's cool about this hat, this is actually I went snowshoeing a couple years ago on vacation. I have to do that every once in a while to keep the wife happy. And I like vacations too. Don't let me lie to you. But my snowshoe instructor had this. We went snowshoeing. I'm not a big ski guy. Something about being 250 pounds flying down a mountain on skis. I'm gonna hurt somebody, probably me. But this one's actually got a mask on it. And so when I'm driving on my four-wheeler, I can pull that down. That keeps my ears warmer, because this will get wind underneath it. So the other thing that I could do, if you want to be real goofy and real honest, is I will sometimes put that mask right over the top of my bill, and then I still get to keep my hat on, which again, I love wearing just a regular ball cap, keep the sun out of my eyes. Now it's cotton, and if it gets wet, I don't like it. So once it gets much colder than 25, 30, when I'm starting to feel like this is not enough, I will switch to a wool cap, and I haven't found the perfect one yet. I'm still looking. I found one on that same vacation that had a little bill on it, and it was cardboard, and now it's worn out. And it does the same thing. It doesn't keep the bottom of my ears warm, but I'll lose this and I'll just have that on, and that works pretty good. I don't know that I've ever been cold in it, cold enough to want to change it for sure, except for the bottom of my ears. And normally I will throw on a scarf or some kind of other head wrap, and that will actually really help to keep me warm enough in the really cold temperatures. And I'll throw it around the bottom of my ears, and I look goofy. I look like the abominable snowman. But again, sometimes it's just about function and being warm. So that's what I do when it's really cold. I'll have my bibs on, my insulated boots with my heavy duty, super cold weather, darn tough socks. And then probably be wearing those, either the Under Armour or the wool leggings. Probably with my wool underwear, wool boxers, and then 2 or 3 layers of something. Honestly, it's probably going to be cotton. Someday it'll be wool, like a long sleeve shirt, a vest. Right now it's just the, you get what you can afford, and hope for the other things to come. But again, these Carhartt hoodies, especially the wind and rain, they're heavier. They don't seem to hold the moisture as much, but when they get wet, they're wet. And so then a pair of this coat and a pair of bibs afterwards. So that's what I'll be wearing, some kind of neck gaiter heavy duty hat. So I hope this helps you guys. Hope if you're interested in more of the specifics, I can share them with you in the comments. But I'm sure this has been a long enough, boring enough video for somebody who doesn't care about clothes. But these are the things that I wear, and I hope this helps you guys if you're looking for your winter gear and looking for something that's gonna keep you warm. So if you like this content, one more like it, subscribe, and follow for more. We appreciate you.